Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, JV, coming to you live once again from back in the United States, back in California, on this Monday, January 20th, 2025. I know you guys miss me a lot. I've been away for about a week, but I was actually sorting some things out, and here I am. I'm back in the frigid, cold United States or divided states of America. Anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video here about my experience down in Mexico during my vacation. I was down there for a while, man. I was out there for a while. And let me tell you what my experience was. First of all, Mexico's getting outrageously expensive. The prices are very comparable to what you experience here in the U.S. I couldn't believe how expensive it really is. And you got to remember that people down in Mexico probably make about 30 cents on the dollar as opposed to American workers. So the fact that they're having to pay almost the same prices that Americans are paying here is just totally outrageous, and it's very concerning because very soon, I don't know what people are going to be able to do. I mean, I don't know how people are going to get by with these outrageous prices. Groceries are out of control. Getting a haircut, they were charging me 300 pesos, which is it's the equivalent of about, what, $15? You might say, well, $15 here in the U.S. will not get you, not even close to getting you a haircut. Here in the U.S., you got to pay about $30 to $40. Well, I pay $17 where I go to, $17. And they were charging me 300 pesos down there. Just think about it. It's very similar. It's very comfortable, comparable to the prices that you pay here in the U.S. So that's one thing that I noticed was the outrageously expensive day-to-day costs that everything all the goods and services are, how expensive they are. Second of all, and I think there's a correlation between the first thing and the second thing. The second thing that I noticed was the amount of foreigners that are living in Mexico City. It's outrageous. The gentrification is definitely taking place in many parts of the city. I was in different locations, as you saw during my stay down there. I would go from one apartment to another apartment, and then I stayed at Centro Histórico the last week. And as I was walking around, I could immediately tell how many foreigners there were just in the building alone where I was staying. I was talking to the receptionist, and as I was checking out on Thursday. And by the way, the wind here is just whipping through, man. The weather here is fucking terrible here in the U.S. If there's 3 months out of the year where you do not want to be in this country or in Canada, that would be January, February, and March. The fucking weather here sucks balls, man. It is terrible. Fucking brutal. Anyway, that's why I'm not very happy that I'm back here. This fucking weather pisses me off. So, as I was saying, in the building, as I was checking out on Thursday, I was talking to the receptionist, and she told me that there was an Asian guy that was coming from China, and that he was there. He was living there since May. He was staying there since May of last year. So, and then there was another white guy. I didn't notice where he was from. I think he was from Europe. Very nice guy, very cordial to the reception crew. He would always bring them a treat every time he would go into the building. But it seems as though he probably lives there as well. The gentrification is real. There's a ton of foreign people there. And I think there's a correlation between that and the fact that the prices are out of control in Mexico. If you go down to Colombia, for example, it is not as expensive as it is in Mexico. Not even close. In Colombia, you can probably get a haircut for $5, the equivalent of $5, just to name a few. I wanted to get an avocado for some tuna that I prepared myself, and they were charging me 120 pesos for one fucking avocado. 120 pesos is the equivalent of about, what, $5.20. That is crazy for one avocado. $5.20, 120 pesos. I mean, it is out of control expensive. So that's another thing that I noticed, the gentrification that's going on in Mexico City. Another thing that I noticed also that I hadn't noticed before, the amount of homeless people, the amount of people that are living on the streets, especially in the Centro Histórico. It's looking more and more like a major city here in the U.S. There's a ton of people that are living in on the street. That is terrible. It's just terrible. And again, it seems like everything is a correlator, right? Everything is a byproduct of the other thing and the other thing. The fact that everything's so expensive, the fact that there's a lot of gentrification leads to people living on the streets because they can't afford to rent a place anymore. So there was a lot of that I saw, especially on the last week that I was there. As you get closer and closer to the Centro Histórico, you see more and more homeless people there. And but overall, my stay in Mexico was fantastic, as it normally is. The weather was sensational. It was cold, but not even close to as cold as it is here. The weather was very cooperative. I really enjoyed my days that I was down in Guanajuato City. The place is just breathtakingly beautiful. I love that city. It's very colonial. It reminds me a lot of Valparaíso down in Chile. When I was in Valparaíso in 2023, very similar with the hills and everything. Maybe not with the breeze and the fog that you get from Valparaíso, because it's a coastal city. It's right next to the Pacific Ocean, and Guanajuato is not. But the topography is very similar. It's very comparable. So I enjoyed my stay there. The food was fantastic as well. I had a lot of dishes that I had never tried before, and I'm Mexican American, and I've been pretty much attached to Mexico my entire life, and yet I had never tasted these dishes before. So that's another thing that I truly enjoyed, especially the romeritos, they call them. I had never had those romeritos. Romeritos are basically like little pieces of meat with mashed potatoes, and they were really good as well. They were actually served at my girlfriend's house. And what else? I mean, what else did I notice on my stay down in Mexico besides all those things? I think that's basically it. I mean, those were the only things that really stood out to me that I hadn't really noticed in my previous trips, or on my previous trips. I know that it's been expensive for a while down in Mexico because of the inflation, because it's a worldwide phenomena, and ever since the pandemic, things have completely gone off the rails financially for many people around the world, and Mexico is no exception. They're not immune to the high inflation and the devaluation of the peso as well. That's another thing. The peso's right now pretty devalued against the dollar. So those were the things that I noticed. I will be back in March. I will be hanging out in Mexico again, and I will be going to Spain. So I'll be making my first trip to Spain ever. Never been there, in the middle of March. So the weather should be a lot better than what it was in December/January, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I know you guys were missing me. I know you guys were in pins and needles waiting for another video of mine, and here I am back in California, back in Northern California, for another edition of JB. And I will talk to you in another video. Thank you.